Back in 2016, during that infamous killer clown phase, you might recall the unsettling trend that swept across the US. Essentially, it was a disturbing phenomenon where individuals dressed as clowns to frighten people, which gained considerable notoriety and left many feeling uneasy. However, I have to admit, it never really bothered me at the time. Fast forward to a recent move and a new high school, where word got out about my Snapchat username, resulting in a flurry of new ads from schoolmates. Adding them back seemed harmless, considering most appeared nearby on the map, presumably from my high school. One Friday evening, after returning from late volleyball tryouts, I settled in with my cousin to binge Netflix. In a light-hearted moment, I jokingly suggested she glance out the window behind her, playing on our habit of teasing each other. But her reaction wasn't what I expected. She claimed to have seen someone outside. Brushing it off, we continued our night until my usually quiet dog startled us by aggressively barking at the front door around midnight. This was unusual, and it left me uneasy, especially as my cousin and I headed upstairs to bed around 1 a.m. As I idly scrolled through Snapchat, I noticed something unsettling on the Snap map. 4 other users were supposedly at my location, one being my cousin, but the others were strangers. Concerned, we checked the house and found fresh footprints in the snow, even in our gated backyard. An eerie feeling crept over us, amplified as we reviewed security footage showing unknown individuals in clown costumes, wielding baseball bats, skulking around our property. Terrified, we contacted the police, though the clips were already an hour old. When the authorities arrived, they conducted a thorough search but found no trace of the intruders. We filed a report for trespassing, providing as much information and footage as we could, including the Snapchat usernames associated with the mysterious visitors. The entire experience has left me, my cousin, and our family shaken and on edge, grappling with the unsettling thought that these individuals might return, perhaps with more sinister intentions. It's been a harrowing ordeal, and the fear of their potential reappearance lingers. A couple of years ago, when I was 15, Snapchat was a big part of my life. I was pretty obsessed with increasing my Snap score, so I'd add random friends and accept requests to boost it. Looking back, it seems kind of strange, but back then, that score meant something to me. One Saturday, my friends and I were discussing going to the mall in our group chat. I wanted to join, but I realized I didn't have a ride, so I posted on my story asking if anyone could pick me up. I was hoping for a response from someone I knew, like my cousin, but instead, I got a Snapchat from a guy I'd never spoken to before. His Bitmoji showed a guy, but I had no idea who he was. He claimed to be on my Snapchat friends list, but we'd never interacted before. He mentioned being bored and having nothing to do. I asked if he even lived nearby, and it turned out he was a 2-hour drive away. I told him not to bother, but he insisted, which struck me as odd. Eventually, I agreed, but only if he sent me a photo of himself. I needed to be cautious. He quickly sent a snap, and when I opened it, I was met with the image of a creepy-looking 30-year-old guy with a dirty hat and missing teeth, claiming he was on his way. Suddenly, it hit me. I'd left my SnapMap on, which meant anyone on my friends list could see my location. Panicked, I made up an excuse, claiming another friend offered to take me. The guy never responded. For the next few days, a black SUV drove by my cul-de-sac repeatedly, which unnerved me. About a month later, I stumbled upon a news story on Facebook about a man arrested for attempted murder. To my horror, it was the same guy from Snapchat. Reflecting on the incident, I realized I dodged a bullet by trusting my instincts and declining the ride. It shook me up, and since then, I've been more cautious, only allowing people I trust to see me on SnapMap. It's a lesson I won't forget anytime soon. As a sophomore in high school, I enrolled in various classes, one of which left a lasting impression: history. Our regular teacher often had commitments outside of teaching, so we frequently had a substitute, a man in his mid-50s. Initially, nothing seemed amiss, especially since I rarely paid attention in class. However, things took a disconcerting turn during a project when I noticed him staring at me whenever I glanced up. His unwavering gaze made me uneasy, especially when I saw him aiming his phone in my direction, as if taking pictures. Despite feeling creeped out, I remained silent, unsure of my suspicions. Weeks later, to my shock, he somehow found my Snapchat username and added me. His full name on the account left no doubt. Unsure of what to do, I reluctantly added him back, fearing his influence on my grade. His initial greeting snap intensified my unease, prompting me to screenshot it and ignore further messages. Over the next few weeks, I noticed him on the SnapMap near me, even outside of school. Coincidences or not, it unnerved me. Then, he sent a barrage of about 50 pictures of me in various settings, confirming my worst fears. I blocked him immediately, informed my parents, and contacted the school and the police. Since that incident 2 years ago, I've never encountered him again. Presumably, he was dismissed, as a new, kind substitute took his place. The whole ordeal left me deeply disturbed. The idea of someone tracking and photographing me based on my Snapchat location terrifies me to this day. I deleted Snapchat shortly after and haven't seen him since, leaving me unsure of his fate.